Imagine waking up to a bright, beautiful morning. The sky is clear, the city is alive. People are rushing to work, drinking coffee, kissing their children goodbye. Now imagine, within just 2 hours, that same city is drowning in smoke, fire, and fear. September 11th, 2001. The day when the world changed forever. A perfect morning. It was Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. New York City sparkled under the morning sun. The sky was a perfect blue. People hurried through the streets, cars honked, subways carried thousands of workers. The World Trade Center, also called the Twin Towers, stood tall and proud. Each tower was over 100 stories high. They were symbols of American business, power, and confidence. Inside, thousands of people worked. Meetings began. Phones rang. Computers turned on. Nobody knew that this ordinary morning was about to become one of the darkest days in history. For flights, one plan. Far away from the towers, at airports in Boston, Washington, and Newark, for planes prepared for departure. The passengers boarded as usual. Businessmen with laptops, families traveling together, students, children. But hidden among them were 19 men. They were terrorists. They carried a deadly plan. They wanted to turn the planes into weapons. Their mission: attack America. Passenger whispering to a friend. Those men look nervous. Why are they all going to the front? Another passenger frowning. I don't know. Something feels wrong. Soon, fear would turn into horror. The first strike. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 flew low over Manhattan. People on the ground looked up in confusion. Man on the street. That plane is too low. What's it doing? Before anyone could react, the plane slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The explosion lit up the sky. Flames burst from the building. Thick, black smoke poured out. Screams filled the streets. Sirens began to wail. News cameras rushed to the scene. Millions of Americans turned on their TVs. At first, many thought it must be an accident, but in just 17 minutes, that belief was shattered. The second strike. At 9:03 a.m., as cameras broadcasted live, United Airlines Flight 175 appeared in the sky. It flew low. It flew fast straight into the South Tower. Another massive fireball. Another cloud of smoke. People screamed on the streets. Reporters gasped live on air. Reporter. Another plane. Another plane has just hit the second tower. This is not an accident. This is an attack on America. Panic spread everywhere. The United States was under attack. Chaos inside the towers. Inside the towers, fear turned to desperation. The stairwells filled with smoke. Some people tried to go down. Others were trapped above the fire. Worker on the phone. Please, we need help. We can't breathe. The smoke is everywhere. Operator, stay calm. Rescue teams are on the way. Stay low to the floor. Many people made final phone calls to their loved ones. Man whispering into his phone. Tell the kids I love them. I don't think I can get out. Their voices broke. Their hearts ached. Time was running out. The heroes who climbed. While thousands rushed down to escape, others rushed up. They were the firefighters, police officers, and paramedics. They carried heavy equipment. They climbed floor after floor. Firefighter to his team. Let's go. Don't stop. People are waiting for us. They knew the danger. They knew the risk. But their courage was greater than their fear. They became the heroes of that day. The Pentagon attack. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 struck the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. The Pentagon is the headquarters of the U.S. military. Flames and smoke rose from the massive building. Military workers ran for their lives. Dozens were killed instantly. The nation realized this was a coordinated, deadly attack. Flight 93. the fight back. One plane remained in the sky, United Airlines Flight 93. Its target was Washington, D.C., maybe the White House, maybe the Capitol, but the passengers knew what was happening. They had heard about the other attacks through phone calls. They understood they were part of the plan. Passenger on the phone, voice shaking. We know what they're going to do. We're not going to sit here. We'll stop them. I love you. The passengers gathered together. They fought the terrorists. They tried to take back the plane. The struggle was fierce. And then at 10:03 a.m. the plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania. Everyone on board was killed. But they stopped the terrorists from reaching their target. They sacrificed their lives to save many others. The collapse of the towers. Back in New York, the Twin Towers continued to burn. The fires raged. The steel grew weaker. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapsed. The building fell in seconds, sending a cloud of dust through the city. People screamed. They ran through the streets, covering their faces. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower collapsed too. Both towers were gone. The skyline of New York had changed forever. Survivor. I felt the ground shake. I thought the world was ending. A city in darkness. After the towers fell, the streets of New York looked like a war zone. Dust and ash covered everything. Cars, buildings, people all turned gray. Survivors wandered, shocked and silent. Some carried injured strangers. Some cried for loved ones. Some simply stared in disbelief. Firefighter. Stay together. Keep moving. We'll get you out. But the air was thick. Breathing was hard. And the pain was everywhere. The heroes we lost. That day, hundreds of firefighters and police officers gave their lives. They went into the towers, knowing they might never come back. They carried people down. They guided strangers. They chose duty over safety. Survivor. A firefighter held my hand, told me I would be okay, and helped me down. I survived. He didn't. He was my hero. Their bravery is remembered forever. The president's words. That night, President George W. Bush addressed the nation. President Bush. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, but America is strong. America is united. We will not break. We will not forget. His words gave strength to a grieving nation. The numbers, the names. By the end of the day, nearly 3,000 people were dead. They came from more than 90 countries. They were office workers, firefighters, police officers, mothers, fathers, children. Families waited for loved ones who never came home. Photos were taped on walls. Candles were lit in windows. The world mourned together. Child crying. Where is Daddy? Why didn't he come home? Mother holding her. He's gone, sweetheart. He's in heaven now. The pain was beyond words. The world responds. Across the world, people showed their support. In London, Paris, Berlin, Tokyo, crowds gathered. They held candles. They sang. They cried with America. At Ground Zero, people placed flowers, letters, and photographs. They wrote messages of love and remembrance. We miss you. You are not forgotten. How life changed. After 9/11s, nothing was the same. Airports became strict. Security increased everywhere. Travelers faced long checks. Fear became part of daily life. The U.S. began the war on terror. Soldiers went to Afghanistan. The fight against terrorism spread across the world. Remembering 9/11s. Every year, on September 11th, America remembers. At Ground Zero, a memorial stands. To reflecting pools shine where the towers once stood. Around them, the names of every victim are engraved in bronze. Families gather. They read the names of the dead. They cry. They hug. They whisper. We will never forget. September 11th, 2001 was a day of horror and heartbreak. But it was also a day of courage and sacrifice. The terrorists wanted to destroy America's spirit, but they could not. America stood strong. The world stood with it, and the memory of that day will live forever.